Hi, I'm Everett. Welcome back to the shop. This is part 2 of the Shaper Keyway and spline cutting tool, tool holder build. Last time we cut the basic tool shape, to shape, and we also were just about ready to cut the threads that are used to lock it into the clapper box. So that's where we'll pick it up, and then hopefully by the end of this video we'll have it finished out with all its features. So hope you find it interesting. So we've got the threading bit in, we have the machine set to 200 RPM. Blacken that up. How about we actually set the machine to threading? Touch off. 0, 0. So let's just make a scratch pass. Looks like 18 to me. So we'll be measuring using thread pitch wires, and our goal is 1.135 over the wires. In we go. Well, now that is starting to look like a thread. So I don't know if you can see it in the camera there, but that actually is showing me 1.132.5, 1.133. So that is within our spec range. That's a good thread. In fact, it actually doesn't feel that rough at all either. I've found since I sped up my threading using the carbide inserts, I get a better finish than trying to thread at a lower speed with the carbide. We're going to pilot drill a 3/8 in with a, this is a 3/16 drill bit. Use the center that we were using before, and then we'll hog it out with the letter F drill. Letter F being the tap drill size for a 5/16 18. This part here is just to make PR feel all warm and fuzzy. We'll chamfer first. Helps if you lock the tailstock. Yep, there we go. Because this hole here is actually a blind hole at the moment, but it will open up into the 1/4 inch square hole that's going to be going through. So for that, it'll be easier to finish off the tapping of it once the hole's in place. Then I can finish the tapping. I'm just going to do this by hand, just to get the thread started. Yeah, there we go. There. Because it's got quite the lead on the front of that. Yeah, at least we have a thread started. So when time comes to actually poking the square hole through there, we'll be good to go. So next step is take it to the bandsaw. We'll cut it off back here, face that end, and then we're on to making the little square hole. For once, they're actually making a square hole in a round peg. Go figure. So just buzz it off in the bandsaw. Figured it'd be less painful than trying to part it off in this thing. Now all we need to do is make this back journal here 1/4 inch long. There we go. That's exactly what I was looking for. Nice. So there's the basic tool outline. Next step is we need to drill a round hole in the round peg to make a square hole in the round peg. I've already located where it goes, found the edge of the material 700 thousandths across, moved it to 350 so it's in the middle. The center of the hole is also 1/2 inch from the end. So using the edge finder I did that and moved the quilt accordingly. I just managed to get my center finder out. Now I know I could probably spin the drill faster, but yeah, this will work. You can spin a drill slower as long as you're careful. I want to go a little bit further than just putting a pockmark on there. I want to actually get some of the cutting flutes of the center drill, the large diameter, into the material, because I want to use a 1/4 inch drill bit after this, not stepping, and that way, because this center drill is actually 1/4 inch in diameter, the drill cutting to size should follow. There we go. Theoretically should follow anyway. All right. Oh, one thing I should mention too. For setting this up, what I did was I took the V block and I also took a parallel, so that I'm parallel with one of the slots here. Then I clamped it all in place. That way I knew that at least I was in parallel with the x-axis. So now what I'm going to do is we'll pull this out and we'll go over to the bench and use the manual milling machine. So this part of the job is not really all that glamorous nor entertaining. I'm just now going to sit down with some needle files and make this hole here a square. On the first version, I actually didn't do too badly of a job. It came out okay that way. I just wasn't happy with a lot of the rest of it. So it'll take a little while. As I say, I just have to make that square or round hole fit this square peg. And a fair amount of this. Stop, clean it out, check for square with the piece going through, and go for there. So I'll bring you back in when we're closer to square. Well, after a little bit of quality time with the file and watching a couple of double boost videos to try to get caught up because it's been a while, kind of behind, finally have a 1/4 inch square hole. I mean, I know it's a little bit excessive on the sides up here, but once you get it in here, it does actually sit reasonably flat in the back. Again, you know, it'd be nice to have a 1/4 inch broach, but square broach that is, but I don't have one. That's the best I can do. Once you get the set screw in there, it'll hold it nice and snug. The bottom of the hole is nice and flat. Now we need to finish off with the threading this hole here. We got the thread started in the lathe, but the thing is, you turd. Okay, fine. Okay, let's get a better grab. I know the threads are straight, so if I'm crooked here, it doesn't matter. And this is where, try not to break the tap off in the hole. We want threads into the square hole so that we're getting there. So that our set screw on the end there, clamping screw actually clamps down onto the, there we go, clamps onto the piece of square tool bit. All right. So there we go. Nice square hole, well, mostly square. Threads in the end for the set screw. I'm just going to steal the one off the, attempt number 1. Now the thing is, the threads, turns out the threads on this are okay. Diameter there's, a little bit undersized, but not bad. I just don't like how much stick out we have here as far as rigidity. So I may even make this into a shorter bar at some point, some other accessory, but not today. All right, so we have that guy. Next step is we need to cut the little flats here for a wrench, and then this part's done. Well, to carve the 2 flats on here, this is the sketchy setup of the day for doing that. Have it in a couple V-blocks, squished down nice and tight here. I am such a pack rat, I save everything, including this chunk here that I cut off of the end of a piece of bar. It's got a slight taper in it. Actually, it came in handy because I could wedge it underneath there with a piece of aluminum and then clamp down on top, and that basically grabs both sides. Again, I did the trick with the parallel against the slot here, against the V-blocks, and then as far as just before I did final snugging and then double checked to make sure that the tool bit here is square. I mean, this is more just for my own persnicketyness, if you will. I used a piece of 5/8 tool blank, got it in there, and made sure that it's nice and flat. So yeah, we're good. Now, I've changed the design partway through. Again, I was originally going to use 5/8 for a shank, but now it's 700 thousandths. I was going to make it a 5/8 flat across, or 5/8 across the flats here. Because we're doing 700 thousandths here, we're going to do 750 or 3/4, which is pretty close to 19 millimeters, but we'll call it good enough. This side here, we're actually going to have to plunge in a bit and then move the table that way, because otherwise it'd be climb milling. Back side, we're just going to conventional mill. We'll have to touch off and then make a few passes. This is another one of my end mills with a burnt up end, but the sides are still happily sharp. All right. There we go, retouch there. Use that as our end point there. Now with our end point set, we can use the work stop. And this will allow me to make sure both sides are the same that way, same position. A little bit of oil. We'll dial in 20. Last pass. All right. I like that. Came out nicely. So that should be theoretically about 0.875, 0.877, 0.876. Close enough. We'll touch off on the back side. Do the same. Only we're going to conventionally mill this way. Well, tool bit's going to go that way in relation to the work anyway. There we go. Touched off. So, if we did it right, should be able to take our 3/4 wrench and do that with it. I don't know. I figure for an amateur that's not too bad. The edges here are actually even fairly, I'm not even going to hit that with a file. Those came out nicely. So now I just need to grind up a tool bit. The plan actually was originally to make a nice little square-headed bolt there to make it look nice and everything. Now, that'll work. Now, one other fun thing I found is it turns out that I did the threads correctly on the other tool holder that I'm not really happy with. So this nut that I made actually will fit. So I did my threads correctly. There's my washer. There's, well, it helps if you put the nut on the right way around, but I guess it doesn't really matter here. All right, a little warm yet from coming off the saw. I can now actually start cutting keyways, which is good because I have what I need to do for somebody. So the next step is to make up a cutter, a tool bit to go in here, and then we can get set up and potentially cut a keyway here. That looks much better than the original. So yeah, I'm pretty tickled at how it came out. You know, threads in the end, and put the tool bit in there, and reasonably square hole for a guy with a file. Next video, I do have a project I need to finish up for a friend. I need to put a keyway in a hub of his, so this is actually one of the reasons I needed this now. It's a metric keyway, and I don't have any metric broaches. So I just want to say thanks to everybody who subscribed. I know that each one of those numbers is a human being, you know, and I appreciate all of you who want to come spend time in the shop with me. Thanks for all the comments, the likes, the emails, that sort of stuff. If you haven't subscribed, that's totally cool. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you spending time here. And otherwise, yeah, I'll see you all next time. And thanks for everything.